Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavally and welcome back to my channel. And today we'll start getting into some conflict here on Beta Canum 4 as we continue our 2300 AD Tricolor Shadow adventure. And so I think last time uh, there was a we had decided, or the dice had determined for us that one team was separate, and that's when the bad guys show up. I have modified the team a little bit, the enemies, so that they're two equivalent songbirds that each have four people in them. They're the ones that were sent, they're mercenaries, and now at least some of those mercenaries have come into the same area. So I think for the first question before we set things to right or get things going, are the mercenaries, the Black Scorpion mercenaries, are they actually together, or are they kind of spread out, and so like one team found our team, or are they staying close? um, I'm kind of leaning towards it being, I'm going to say it's even, because they know that someone was there, but they don't really know anything about them. So as far as they know, it could be it could be some local rancher or something like that. So I'm going to say even. And for even, it's no, but I didn't frame my question. I forgot how to I didn't frame my question. Um, so I'll probably ask, are they traveling together? So no, they're not. So it's just going to be they're somewhere, because these vehicles, typically, according to the equipment guide, the vehicle radios have a 20 kilometer, or a 20 kilometer range. Is that right? Let me double check that. I have to look in my guide here. I think it's 20 kilometers. I had just looked it up a little bit ago. Maybe it's 200. I bet it's. I think it's actually 200 kilometers. As I look in the backpack or vehicle communicator. Yeah, 200 kilometers. So they have a range of 200 kilometers, and so and kind of like I suspect our team is probably doing, is they are staying close enough that they would be in, radio range. So 200 kilometers. All right, so they find. Let's see what our when the mercenary team shows up, or at least gets within range, because I haven't necessarily found them yet. Let's see what our team is doing. Um, are they actually in the vehicle, or are they setting sensors or taking readings? I'm going to say it's about half and half. I'll give it another even. Okay, so no, they are not in the vehicle. I need to get be careful making sure I ask a question, a yes no question, if I'm using that. So they are not in the vehicle, so they are out and about, probably gathering sensors or laying sensors. It might be collecting them. That is close to it is close to them, trying the end of their contract. All right, so they're out, they're taking their readings. And so what I'm going to do is, they do have a remote drone. They might be actively using it. Probably not at that exact moment. But if they're out, they're taking readings, they're doing something. Um, so I'm going to give. Oh, the team, by the way, I split up the teams. It's Xiaomei and Gordon Wofford. Xiaomei is our scholar, scout contact team member, and Gordon's our former Marine. Although, all right, okay, I know you're once a Marine, always a Marine. Okay, I, my mistake. Marine that's not currently on active duty. How about that? Um, all right, so they're out and about, and I'm going to say that there's a decent chance that with the sensors and whatnot, that maybe they do find, or that they do have some kind of sensor that might give them an early warning. So, oops, I forgot to roll her. I forgot to roll her looks last time. Also forgot to roll her eyesight. I'll do that later. All right. Um, so with their array of sensors and everything, I'm going to give him a decent, say an average chance of hearing, because if they're not out, then they might hear that hovercraft, which is probably a little noisy. So, um, okay, so 9. So he definitely hears something going on. He hears a vehicle approaching, and I think when they hear the vehicle approaching, they know they're going to radio, make sure that it's not the other team. Um, the other team being Stefan and Horace. Um, Stefan and Horace uh, the, reply that it is obviously not them. They don't recall the farmer having anything, but at this point, they're also not. It's remote. They're not in some kind of war zone or high crime area or anything. So, um, I think they would probably send out a remote drone though to see. So they launch uh, Zhao Mei's drone. She has a remote drone, and just to see who it is, she's gonna pilot it and go see. And Gordon is going to continue doing his thing, which is he's not super skilled, but as far as he does have some prospecting, so he knows a little bit about how to use the sensors and whatnot. He knows how to take the readings because now they're kind of back to just doing the boring reading stuff. So she flies the drone around and heads it off, and I think probably the chances are that uh, when they get high enough, they're going to see who's coming. Does she see the Does she see the other one too? No, probably not. I'm gonna say not at this point. But so they send the drone out. They see it. Um, okay, so she does pick up enough detail that she can see, because these are kind of they're songbirds, kind of open top, survival hovercraft, essentially like what they have. And she sees in it that there are 4 people, and they are dressed a little rough, and they have weapons, and they're heading generally in their direction. The Scorpions are described as, instead of having a uniform, they kind of dress like a bad 80s street gang kind of thing with the black leathers and stuff. And so I think they really stick out of place with her, uh, to her. And so she's going to, obviously, she's going to tell Gordon that that this vehicle is coming. Um, let's see. Now, when this game was made, drones weren't quite the the big um, field changing technology that they have been for the last many years, even before current conflicts. Um, but they did have them in the 80s and stuff too. So let's see. Since they are searching for somebody, do they have drones? I'll give it a I'll give them an even chance that maybe they have drones. Yes. All right. So they also have drones. The Black Scorpions. I'll say that they probably uh, each thing has drones, so they know they're heading in the kind of the right direction. So every now and then they stop. They send a drone up. She sees that they're sending the drone up, and now she's getting a little worried, and so is Gordon. Um, they don't necessarily want to draw attention to themselves by activating the radar or the radio, but Gordon decides that he's going to hop on the radio and let Stefan know that there are armed people nearby. Now, they don't have a reason to think that they're in trouble. One of these guys don't necessarily look like authority figures. They look like punks. And let's see. Since Zhao Mei probably would not, but Gordon, he's a veteran Marine. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say that he has good odds that maybe he recognizes this particular unit. Right, most of all their equipment was kind of gotten locally. They got locally, but as far as how they're dressed and everything, so I'm going to give him a good odds. Okay, so yes, so he recognizes who they are, and I don't know if he's necessarily fought them before or anything, but fought with them. But he's been in the field, in the military field for a while, and so he knows who they are, and he recognizes them. He recognizes because of course Zhao Mei is showing him the feed from the remote from the copter, and he can see that they are armed with the Wu Beijing Type 49, and they seem to be moving with a purpose. Let's see. They're kind of staying high. Zhao Mei is not necessarily tactically minded, so she may not have thought about trying to evade or stay. So let's see if one of them notices the drone. Now, of course, they're not going to hear it probably, but all right. So right now they don't actually notice the drone that's watching them, and so that's fine with the three. Um, so they watch him for a little bit, and they stop, and then they being Zhao Mei and Gordon, they see the the mercenary stop, and then they see a drone go up. Now, of course, it looks a little more sinister, a little more like a military surveillance drone than their, contact team surveillance drone, but they're effectively the same. And it starts flying around in circles. Gordon says they're in a search pattern. They must be looking for us. Let's see. Chance that now they haven't done anything. They didn't touch they didn't touch the oh no, wait a second. I got uh they did actually Stefan grabbed the thing from the satellite. Oh man, I don't remember. Did everybody else know? Yes, yes. Okay. So um I I had initially planned that they weren't going to, but Stefan decided at the last minute last time. So they must be after the orange box. I think that's a pretty good that they're probably going to come to that conclusion that they're in the area and they're looking for that as well. But do they think that they're official or maybe some like scavengers? Probably scavengers. This is a French colony, so if the French, so it would seem, wanted it, then they would have sent one of the local militias to go recover it. And that is how the adventure is written, but I've made it a little more sinister in the background. All right, so we've got to get out of here. He knows that they've got to get out of there, but um, it's going to be hard to evade that drone. But the chase is on, so he is going to radio he's going to radio the other team and tell them that someone's after us. I think they want that box that you took, Stefan. Let's meet at the main base. Because I pictured that they had like a main camp that they would leave their stuff and then they'd run out and do their missions, take their stuff. Zhao Mei, she starts gathering up uh, sensors, and Gordon's like, no, 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 get in now, we gotta go. So they grab the ones that are right there next to them and they toss them in. She brings the drone back because he's not really a good. He can't drive this thing. She's the best driver, and so they head back through. Um, let's see. Do the opponents, do the mercenaries, as they go in their circle, do they see this thing leaving? Now they might be far enough away that by the time, since they're kind of doing like a outward going spiral, they might get away. But do they see him before? Okay, no, no. In fact, we'll give them a quick mishap roll. Maybe their drone had an issue. That would be lucky. Let's see. So that was a fumble. Um, I don't think that was necessarily super bad. So we're just gonna go with um, it was a fumble, but okay. So no, it doesn't damage anything. Whoever's running it just decides that they're not even close enough, so they need to go. Um, Although Gordon did hear them, so they might hear them, as even though they didn't see it, they might hear something. I don't think that's gonna I don't think that's gonna be quite enough to get them to where they're off on the chase. They know they're in the right direction, and they've seen signs of the science work and everything else. But it looks like Gordon and Zhao Mei have managed to at least escape the immediate area. All right, so they escaped that team. Is team two nearby? Are they close enough to where they might intercept? I don't know. I'm gonna say they're spreading apart, but not so far apart. So I'll say even. I'll say even odds. Okay, so no, they're off some many kilometers off to the west, searching that way. All right, so Zhao Mei gets going, and get to the they get to the main base camp. They have a discussion. They share the video of who they saw, and Gordon tells them, these guys are mercenaries. They don't really think that they would be hired by the French, like I said, so they think they're probably scavengers, and they're going to want that orange box. Now, they're also kind of nasty customers, so even if they get the box, they may still decide to come after whoever has it. Um, Now, Stefan, he doesn't want the French to get it in any case, if he can avoid it, or he'll destroy it, like you said. So if they're working on the assumption that these are kind of scavengers, and there's some facilities, well, kind of nearby. Each one of those hexes is a little bit of range. Oops. Yeah, so depending on where they are in that hex, they're still hundreds of miles away from Uh, what is that? Is that the fusion plant? Yeah, okay. So that's the colony. That's the continent's fusion plant that they are close to. So there's going to be some kind of authorities there, some kind of French authorities. But Stefan, he's going to try to convince them not to approach the French because let's see. Now he didn't tell him what it was. I don't think. I think he kept that to himself. So he's going to try just using his, now that they're all kind of together, he's going to just try to use his eloquence to sort of underhandedly get them. He would rather try to get to Adrian, which is, you know, it's, across a pretty good stretch of water and rough sea, but he's going to tell him that this piece of equipment, um, he's going to tell him what it actually is. Well, he's going to try to convince them that if they turn it over to the French directly, that they're likely to face charges. As he was thinking about it, that instead of them offering some kind of finder's fee, they probably would assume that they did something to it. Let's see. How eloquent? Let's see. Oh, his eloquence is pretty low. But how eloquent is he? Okay, no, they're not buying that at all. Um, and so he's going to go to Plan B. Does he go to Plan B? Um, I mean, he's not gonna like try to attack or steal, anything like that. He's not going to do anything too nefarious. But does he tell them what it is and then use that to bolster his? I'll say it's even. He wants to keep it to himself, but he also wants them to. He'd rather give it to Rebco and let Rebco decide what to do with it, because maybe he can get them to give it to the Germans or whatever. Um, all right, so yes, he he does. He admits what it was, what it is. He says, "I know what this is. This is a spy satellite. This is an addition to that. It's a hidden box. This is a telemetry and intelligence gathering nodule. I've used them before when I was in the scout service, and this French satellite was obviously taking film of the German continent. If the French feel that we've given it, or if that we've had it, then they may arrest us so that it doesn't get out that they've been doing that, because the war of reunification is over, but still very hot on both sides. Um, are the other people gonna deal by that now? Um, I don't want to give it to the Germans. I want to get it to Rebco. All right, so still not very eloquent with that, because the seemingly obvious thing to do with it would be to take it to the local French authorities and say, hey, we were legally doing this stuff. We found it. He doesn't want to do that. Of course, like I said, he's not going to, steal it or attack anybody or anything crazy like that. But do they buy it? Do they agree that it would be better to go to Adrian? I'm going to say the chances are low, because his eloquence rolls were pretty bad. So, oh, all right. So, if you can see that, but the chances I gave were bad, and so yes, the team, as they think about it, as Jaume and Gordon and Horace, um, gathering their years of experience together in dealing with governments, they feel that yes, there really is kind of a threat that might happen. Especially with the French. They got that whole we're the Third Empire stuff going on now. You don't want to mess with the Imperial uh, Department of Security or Interior, whatever they call it. So they're going to try. They're going to skirt around because they do have plenty of stuff as far as rations. They've still got rations, and they do have the fuel cracker. Um, let's see. So we'll say that they're probably half full since they were out doing their stuff. Um, Let me take a quick look and see what our Bridgeport Swift Songbird. Okay, let's see. All right, so it has a 12 hours, so it's got 6 hours. We'll say it has six, they each have about 6 hours left. Let's see. And with a cruising speed of 200 kilometers per hour. It has a higher max, but they don't have two very good drivers. All right, so without having to reload, that's 6 hours at 200 kilometers an hour, so they can get 12, 12, 1,200 miles on what they have left. Let's see. So they would probably, all right. So they would have to, it would take them a couple days, which is good. So they're going to be kind of in a running, a chase. Now they're chasing these people are chasing them. Um, like I said, if they realized they were French authorities, they might just have turned it over because they're coming with them now. But these people now are not friendly. All right, so they're going to go 6 hours. They're going to try to get away. I have to keep do a little timekeeping here. We'll say it's about noon, and let's see. This place has all right, so 6 hours. 6 hours they have to stop and they have to crack hydrogen for for their birds. All right, so unfortunately, and this is going to hinder the mercenaries too. It generates. Oh, let me double check something. Yeah, I just had to look up a quick detail on the fuel station. It generates 1 kilogram of liquid hydrogen per hour per panel. And it says a complete station consists of central unit and 10 panels. So as it folds everything out, as it's fully folded out, it produces 10 kilograms of H2 per hour. Now it takes 8 kilograms for the songbird. It takes or uses, expends, consumes. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Consumes 8 kilograms per hour. So basically, for every 1 hour, they can make one of their guys go about 200 kilometers. So what they need to do is either stop and fuel, and of course that only works during the day because it's based off of solar panels. Um, Let's see, and it has one local day is 20 hours long. So they're gonna have to stop because when they get here or thereabouts, that's gonna be that's about gonna be as far as they can go. Um, Now they are running from people that are trying to hurt them. So I'm kind of, you know, would they just try to go to the French, especially if they're running out? I think we're just going to go with the chase. They don't want to get the French involved. They want to just escape from these guys. They know that there's. I think at this point though, they only know there's one. So it's going to be a game of stopping and charging, and then stopping and waiting for a, you know, looking for a safe place. Um, so as they are running out, and they're going to try to get as far as they can. Um, and they are every now and then they're saying on a drone. Do they spot them with the drone? Okay, so yes, they do spot at least one. Have they come back together? Yes or no? I'm going to say even. Okay, so no. So they only know about the one. They only know about the one uh, team so far. Um, is the other team on there? Is the team that's following them? Are they pretty well on their trail? I'm going to give it even. Okay, so no, they're still approaching. They can still kind of follow their tracks, but they have not found them yet. Now, it might turn out to be kind of dull if they are able to, get all the way without getting caught. But 2300, you don't really want to get in gunfights if you can avoid it. Although it makes YouTube videos a little boring if you're just if you get away with no problems. But there's plenty of time to have problems. All right, so they're going to look for a place with a little bit of concealment. Now, obviously, anything near the fusion reactor, any settlements or something, they're going to be seen. But they might be able to find maybe an abandoned building or some place where they're not going to be bothered or known. I'll give that even odds. Okay, so no, they don't really find a good place, so they're just going to stop. They got to stop. They stop. They try to put up the whatever kind of cover they can. The sun is going down. Let's move you guys. The sun's going down, and they are uh, resting. They can't they can't generate fuel until the sun comes up, so they're resting and they're setting up watches. And they do have what they have large life form sensors, so they set those things around uh, to give them a good perimeter guard. Now let's see. Let's see if their remote drone generally is described as having IR sensors. Uh, Make them a little more useful at night. I think it said they do. Let's see. Remote piloted drone. Yeah, okay. 5 times magnification and thermal imaging for night vision. All right, so that's gonna play both ways. We're gonna have a battle of the drones. All right, as we'll say, Xiaomei is manning and looking for them. They don't want to keep them up too long though, because they want to try to be quiet because the drones they do make noise, and if they make noise, the other side hears them. They won't give themselves away. So, how well does our team use its drone? Very well. How about the other team? Not too bad. So I'm going to say that both of those are ours is a little bit better, but close enough that they both would have gotten successes. Um, See, so do they just find each other's drone? Okay, no, they don't. They don't. Well, they probably have seen each other's drone at night, especially if they're trying to use it and it has thermal imaging. Um, but they both kind of look around the same areas, and yeah, I'm gonna say that they both kind of know where they're at. And does the other one join them at night? Let's say even. No. Okay, so the other one is still even at night. Um, is off, maybe scanning another area. So they know where the scorpions are, and the scorpions know where they are. And they kind of both know that they know where each other are because they can see their drones. Um, I think I did. I ever run this? I'm not sure. I'm sure I ran it at some point. I don't think I don't think the drones were an issue then, uh, as I said earlier. But so they both know where each other are at, um, and so I think that's going to, um, and that's going to make the first team of the Scorpions radio the other team. So they're going to come together, and they're going to work in the morning because now because they have been driving all day too, they also need to spend some time. Um, let's see. Now they have to decide, is it, more economical to wait 1 hour and or 2 hours of charging, and so that they can get 200 kilometers away, or do they wait and try to fill up as much as they can so they can make their next run? Um, let's see. I'm not really sure, so I'm going to give it even odds. Um, do the do the heroes, do they set up defensive positions and wait to fill up as much as they can? Even? No. Okay, so they decide that they're going to go. They're just going to fill up enough to get out of the area, maybe in hopes of losing them. It's going to be a little hard with the drones though, because the drones um, change things a little bit. What kind of range does that drone have? That's probably relevant. And let's see. Oh, it also has a microphone for audio data and a large life form detector. Okay. All right. So sensor range is a kilometer. Um, endurance is 2 hours. So it's got, let's say its maximum speed is 200 kilometers per hour. So it has a range of, yeah, 200 kilometers if you want to get it back. Otherwise, 400 kilometers if you want to just send it out there. Um, so they're definitely within, uh, you know, probably 200 kilometers of each other. So since they're that close, they decide to wait for 2 hours to fill up, to get what they can, and head out. Let's see what the mercenaries do. I'll give them even odds too. Do the mercenaries do the quick fill, or do they stop and fill up? I know. Do they do the quick fill? Even yes or no? Okay. Yes. Yes, with an exclamation point. So that means that they do a they're going to do the quick fill, but what does that mean? Let's see. Um, does that mean that the other team showed up, or does it mean that they go and, because they're mercenaries, maybe they find a place to steal? You know what? I think that's what that means. Is that what that means? Okay, yes. All right. So the mercenaries, at least this group, the other ones come in and they do a slow charge. They do the quick charge, but they also um, they find some settlement, some homestead or something like that, and it maybe even be something close to the reactor. Probably not, because that's going to be a little well defended. So they actually go and they rob some fuel cells from a farmer, and so that's going to give them. So our guys have roughly 2 hours. Each of our guys have 10 kilograms. That gives them a little over 2 hours. And I'm going to say that those guys, how much do they find? Oh man, they find full fuel tanks. All right, the so they both have the black scorpions. They both have 100 kilograms. They manage to uh, they find some kind of big piece of farming equipment. They go in and they just take it. The farmers, let's see, do they steal it or do they hijack it? They may just craftily break in. Um, I'm going to say it's probably likely that they just do the stealing because they don't want to get the authorities on their tail. So I'm going to say likely. Do they steal it? Yes. All right. So they somehow manage to steal it during the night while the other team's coming. They send. They get together and they go and steal from a local farmer, and so they're full, and that's going to not be good for our our guys. Um, Gosh, that means that they might even show up while they're still fueling. Hmm. So if they get that, if they steal it, they're gonna go pretty quick. Um, our guys, they don't really have any choice because they kind of went, they're hoping to remain hidden and know to remain hidden from each other. Um, okay, I'm gonna say it's a pretty good. I'm gonna say even chances that the um, black scorpions are going to attack while our heroes are still refueling. Okay, so yeah, once they get their songbirds lifted up, they come in. Um, I'm gonna say okay. So if we're going for 2 hours, um, I'm gonna break I'm gonna break this down into how many of those minutes before they attack. Okay, so it's close to the end of the 2 hours. Whoops. So just to make things easy with the maths, I'm gonna say that our heroes have managed to get eight kilograms of H2 set up and put in their vehicles. And they're watching with the drones. Do they see them? Yes, okay. So they know they're coming and they've already got their stuff ready to pack up. And once they get to a certain spot, once they get close enough, they fold up the fuel set or the fuel generator, the water cracking device, and throw it in, and then they take off. And now the chase is on. The let's see, what kind of speed? Let's see. I think I said the drones were 200. I believe that's right. Remote piloted drone, maximum speed 200 kilometers per hour. And so if our guys are, really zipping along, then the songbirds are actually faster. But the songbirds are also pretty much on, rough ground. So I don't know that they would be able to actually go their max speed very well. Or if they did, it would be difficult. Their cruising speed's 200. So with the drone, it could keep up with our team because they're probably not going to try to go. But the max speed for the other one is 240. Let's see. I think the bandits. I think the bandits are probably going to realize. Okay, yeah. So the bandits realize that our team doesn't have a lot of fuel. And so they're not going to try to do a breakneck chase, but our team obviously is going to try to lose them. Very hard to do, but we'll see. And we might have some, but Stefan, we might have him. He's got a laser rifle. It's pretty good range on it. Drones have been shown to be very hard to shoot down, but if you had a laser pointer, you might be able to get something on there. All right, so we're at 45 minutes, and I was kind of expecting a little bit of action by this time. Well, I mean, we did have action. They're running, they're being chased. But we will wrap it up for now, and I'll probably just immediately make the next video or start making the next video, and we'll get maybe we'll get a showdown. All right, well, I hope everyone enjoyed it, and happy gaming.